the Nashville2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox with Nashville2. Nashville2 is about telling your story. And today we've got a great guest, Melinda Miller, and she's in the hotel industry, the hospitality industry. G'day, Melinda. Thanks for coming on the show.
And good day to you. Very excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well done. That sounded Aussie right there. So, okay, so I'm just trying to move the screen around a bit here. There we go. So, Melinda, we ran into each other in an event in Spring Hill, and I believe you are, what's your role in the hospitality industry and the hotel industry, and who are you working for, that sort of stuff? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I am currently a area director of sales. So I direct the sales efforts of 4 hotels between Franklin and Columbia, Tennessee. I've got 2 sales managers, and my role is, of course, training and mentoring 2 sales managers, as well as presenting, once the budget's completed by the vice presidents, is making sure that we're meeting budget expectations and making sure our corporate negotiated business is taken care of. Our groups, whatever type of groups we get, are at the correct rates, stay patterns, and just make sure the mix of sales. It's so involved. I'd have to take a lot longer probably to review it all, but currently area director of sales, Halifax Hospitality.
Okay, and so Halifax Hospitality has in their umbrella, is it 4 properties?
Currently 4. Now, of course, they're looking at others and new builds, but nothing's announced, and the owners kind of keep that close to them until they really have those deals done.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. And the owners, are they in Middle Tennessee as well, or are they spread out?
Yeah. Headquartered, 2 of the main gentlemen, Roger and Hitesh, they are have the headquarter office here in Franklin, Tennessee, off of Murfreesboro Road, is where our controller is and other operational people in that particular office. So yeah, they're Middle Tennessee company.
Cool. And I'm off Murfreesboro Road too, so maybe I should drop in and bring some donuts sometime or something.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you get involved in this industry? Have you been in this industry for a while?
In college, honestly, back in the early 90s. I date myself, of course. And I actually, before that, since I was a little girl, 5, 6, my grandparents had owned and managed hotels, interstate hotels, smaller hotels, but I had always gone. They were resident owners, managers that lived on property. And my grandmother actually tried to talk me out of being in the business because she said it's 24/7 and you can't leave it alone. But they did that for 20 years or so, and then sold those and went on to other ventures. But I just grew up knowing it in a different kind of scale than what I'm doing now. But my grandmother's real proud of me. She's since passed, but of what I did with the business and the different brands I got involved with. Gotcha.
Well, one of the things I was interested in talking about is I know that through the COVID period, the last couple of years must have been tough. What have you seen that's been changing in the hotel industry?
Wow, everything seems to be so last minute. Our booking windows have shrunk. I mean, people are making decisions on a Friday to travel. They're making decisions on a Sunday to go someplace. It is just very different to forecast, to understand the pace of our business. Expectations are back. We didn't do stayover service for a while because of COVID. Well, now the expectation.
What's stayover?
Housekeeping service every night or every day. Clean sheets, clean linens, clean towels, everything refreshed. Someone in your room every day. And now it's kind of on a request. So getting guests used to that. Our staffing is not always perfect, as everyone is experiencing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's quite a bit has changed. But the expectation of a good, clean property, friendly staff as you walk in at a good value is still there.
Right, exactly. So my wife and I, we fall into that pattern too, because we decided on Friday that we were going to go travel to see some friends in Huntsville and stay overnight last minute. And then we finished up with them late on a Saturday night, and we decided, you know what, it's only an hour and a half back to Franklin. We don't want to stay in the hotel. Now, we know we'd already paid for that night, and checking out, we weren't going to get a refund. That was fine. But we decided, it's like, we like sleeping in the morning. So it's like, well, why don't we just drive home, get home about midnight, watch TV for a little bit, go to bed, and then we can crawl out of bed on Monday whenever we want. And so we left, we decided late on Friday to go, and we decided to leave early on, late on Saturday evening. So we fall exactly into that. And we're just realizing that it's about having the freedom. And you're right, walking into a nice, clean property. We had a hotel stay in, where was it? Chattanooga a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. And we were booked for a 3-night stay. And after the first night, we're like, no, not going to stay there. So you've got a couple of Hampton Inns, you've got a Residence Inn and a Fairfield Inn, I think, if I took my notes right. And they're all great properties, right? So they're all, so I would think that there must be great opportunities for careers in hospitality right now. Is that true?
It is true. I myself, I started in college as an internship at a Drury hotel, and that was I got involved there. A general manager noticed what I was doing and said, "Hey, you want to be in sales for us in Indiana?" Bam, that happened. And, so I was in a sales manager position and moved on from there. But a lot of people come to us as this is their second job, and they don't really think of hospitality and working at hotels as a career. But our general managers do very well financially. They have a good salary, of course, expectations, front office managers, operational, food and beverage. There's several positions, or there's just some great hourly where you have some flexibility in some days and times that you can get involved with as well to make it your primary job and still make a great living from it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've noticed a lot is the staff tend to be friendlier lately. Right? I just the last couple of years, not just, but before COVID too, but I always talk to everybody. And a lot of the times the housekeeping staff, they didn't talk to you, maybe a language barrier or something. But I'm finding lately that you can say hello, you can say, how's your day going, that sort of stuff. And you could have a decent conversation, and it's not complaints. It seems to be that people tend to be happier. I think maybe the hotels have changed their attitude and realized how essential staff are to run the business, right?
They are. They're so easy to take a picture of what went on in a room, take a picture of that breakfast area and post it right then. And that hotel can do nothing about it. And or you meet a staff and they can go on TripAdvisor or Yelp and write a review about that person. It's so timely now. And you have one time to make that first impression. And sometimes it's that smile at the desk. Sometimes you did digital key and you go right to the room and you only see maybe a housekeeper, maybe a breakfast attendant, or you might see an engineer that's doing preventative maintenance in a room on the floor. So the touch points are very different. And we know there's a lot of hotels that you can stay at, honestly. And why did you pick my one Hilton property, my one Marriott over all the others that are out there? And we know jobs can change really quick because what happened in March of 2020. And we're pretty proud to have the jobs that we have and what we're doing.
So let's change tact for a minute. How long have you lived in the Middle Tennessee area?
Since 1994, by way of St. Louis area.
Long time. Yep. Yeah. So, Melinda, one of the things I like talking about is hidden gems around the area. Tell me a hidden gem that you like, either a place to eat, a place to go listen to music, a place to walk, a place to hang out, other than your 4 hotels, of course. When we're gonna say that they're great places to go as well. But what's a hidden gem that you like to do when you're not working?
I really love downtown Franklin. I love Main Street. I love all the great shops. I love walking into a franchise restaurant or 55 South or having reservations at Red Pony for a special event. It's just safe and nice, whatever hours of the day, and clean. I just really like that area. My husband and I love to kayak too. So we like to get on the Harpeth when it's a little, not as slow right now.
Right.
So a lot of things Franklin, but then we get outside the area too and get down to Arrington to the Vineyard.
we'll get back to those. You gave us two. You gave us
Yes.
Kayaking on the Harpeth. One of the things I love about downtown Franklin is they've got that great parking garage there now that is free to park in, and it's just right off the square, and you can walk up and down Main Street and look around. Frothy Monkey at one end, Starbucks across the street. Is it Beautiful Day Cafe? No, it's not Beautiful Day. What is it? Right there on the square. Man, I'm going to have to look it up, but
Ruby Sunshine has the great brunch.
Oh, Ruby Sunshine. That's what it is.
Yes.
In Wichita, I lived there for 30 years, and a Beautiful Day Cafe reminded me a lot of that. So, so it is good. And I'm a sucker for a good coffee shop. It's just like my kids have taught me about coffee. I used to be a Folgers guy, and now I'm like more of a coffee snob, I guess you would say, in a nice way. So I noticed that in hotels too, the coffee quality has gone up. Have you guys done that in your hotels as well?
We had changed vendors, and we get a lot of compliments from our coffee. I mean, those cups to go and are used a lot, and we go through a lot of gallons of coffee in a day. People love their coffee, and they love their creamers and their flavors.
Yeah, all of it. Put it all in. Yeah, exactly. So
bring it up.
So is community important to you? A lot of times we think of hotels as only servicing out of town guests. But I find a lot of times that my relatives, when they're coming into town, in Australia, they all stay with you, like they all camp out with you. And in America, it happens occasionally, but most of the time, it took me a while to understand that it's better for all concerned if we all just get a hotel. And so do you find that community affects your stay rates at all?
Definitely. People are here for all different reasons. If I'm at the front desk, they're here for weddings and for baby showers, and they're here just to visit, an aunt, and they're here for sports tournaments. And we just find, we have a meeting room on site, so we open that up to many social events, and people come in for all different things. So we get a lot of local people through, and then a lot referring to us. That's we were involved in Experience Spring Hill, in that event. But yeah, it's definitely, we want to be part of the community. We know that the locals are going to refer to us and their family and friends, and we just want to continue that.
This episode of Nashville2 is brought to you by Trade Bank of Nashville. Trade Bank of Nashville is a business-to-business barter exchange, helping businesses trade what they have to get what they want or need without spending their cash. It's bartering for the modern era. To find out how barter can work for your business, give Trade Bank of Nashville a call at 615-231-0022. Again, 615-231-0022. Or as we say back in Australia, 615-231-0022. And I know I'm jumping around a bit, but I want to jump back to careers. Do you have open positions right now available at your hotels?
We do. At each of our hotels, I know between a front office position, we had engineer. We were looking for a full-time engineer at one of our hotels. Housekeeping is always a need. We've got general managers at all properties that have been there over a year. Great people, if not longer. And now we're just looking for those mid-tier and other kind of positions. And it changes. I could have someone tomorrow decide to do something else, and wow, there we go. So you never know.
Yeah, I think the challenges of the job would keep me interested in the job, right? The challenges of sales manager, because a lot of the times I've dealt with hotels in the past with other businesses. I've had to book meeting rooms and event space and stuff, and the sales managers churn a lot, or used to mid 90s to mid 2000s, they churned a lot. So you've been with these guys how long?
I've been with them as a year this month, actually. Okay. Yeah, a year this month. And the sales team about a year for another girl, and near that for the other. There's a lot of turnover that happened in the last couple of years. Right. A lot of people, changed careers and changed focus. And I think COVID gave us that opportunity, right, to decide, what do we want to do with our life? Are we where we want to be? My wife and I, we bought a business during
in July of 2020 and moved as close to Nashville as we could, and ended up moving the rest of the way in December of 2021. Just hard to find places to live down here, you know. And so we're excited to be in Franklin, off of Murfreesboro Road, and be able to go downtown Franklin. Love the south of Nashville vibe, you know, Franklin, Spring Hill, Murfreesboro, Murfreesboro. I know it's over the other side, but Columbia, close. Cool Springs, you know, Brentwood. I'm learning, you know, people are saying roads and stuff. That's one of the reasons I started doing this podcast, is because there's so many great stories out there of what's going on and people don't think about it. So what do you want the listeners to know? Most of my listeners are local, and then some of the listeners are coming in from out of town, and are looking for stuff. So what would you most like our listeners to know?
Oh gosh, enjoy our nature trails and enjoy our local restaurants. I don't know, we're kind of small town, but we're getting bigger, and find those neighborhood pockets, and you know, don't go to the 1 or 2 or 3 biggest attractions. Kind of get out to some of the others. There's just some great hidden nuggets around the area.
Right. Well, let's go on to another one that I stopped you from talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be another one that you enjoy when you're not working?
Oh gosh, in the main area, well, if we go to Nashville, I go in like Cheapwood. I like the botanical gardens. I love the nature trails. I love the excitement of that. That's a really nice one. We talked about the Harpeth, kayaking, the Harpeth. We've got a kayak ramp my son had built in our neighborhood as an eco project way back when, and it's still doing great. And we use that and float for a couple miles down to Carton. So those are just nice hidden gems you don't think of.
Right.
We enjoy, and the trails around are great.
So when you get down, do you visit your properties often, or is it something that keeps you in the office most of the time?
I'm out pretty much every day on sales calls, as well as each day of the week I'm visiting a different property, in Spring Hill certain day, down in Columbia a certain day, and then Residence Inn in Franklin a certain day, and that happens to be right next to my house, so that helps a lot coming and going. But then I've got to be on sales calls finding business for all 4 hotels as an area director. So, you know, I don't necessarily sit in my office a ton, but their calls come in and that cell phone's going to ring. So I've got to be somewhere to take care of it.
Right. And so how is the hotel industry in Nashville, in the Nashville market? Is it healthy?
Well, yes, it's coming back. Wow. There's some days I wish I had more hotel rooms, and there's some days we sit with vacancies, but it is coming back. And it's really driven by that leisure business right now. Those sports parents out for tournaments and friendly games. The reunions are back. Weddings are full speed ahead. A lot of those. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're getting to be many days of the week now. The corporate business is just, it's starting to catch up. We're starting to see some short-term group bookings, some meetings, not as big as we used to 2.5, 3 years ago, but I think that'll come back going into the fall. I think the airlines and the scare of that has scared a little bit of that, like Road Warrior that's usually out a lot. So,
Zoom makes it a lot of the time
so much easier.
Yeah. So I got businesses in Wichita and in Nashville, and so I used to go back, you know, every few weeks. And then with Zoom, we've just started doing Zoom team meetings and stuff, and I haven't had to travel as much. Which, you know, with $5 gas, that helps, you know. So time to buy an electric vehicle, I guess that's what they're pushing us all towards. So
yep, that it is.
So let's go through your properties. Fairfield Inn, that's in Columbia. Meeting space, no meeting space.
Yes, we've got a meeting room that's about 1,000 square feet, so we can do about 50 people in that room, and we do social events, corporate meetings, you name it.
Okay.
And it's right off the first floor. It's a great room.
Cool. Residence Inn in Franklin, meeting space?
Yep, we do. We have the good thing about that hotel is we do have a private room that'll seat really up to 16, 18 people, but it is right next door to the town center bar where we have live music going into certain days of the week and going into the weekend, and we've got a restaurant there. So we've got a great bar area, so we can do social events and that, and anyone can enjoy that town center bar and restaurant.
Cool. And then we've got We've got 2 Hampton Inns, one in Spring Hill and one in Columbia. So
Yes, sir.
let's tackle Spring Hill first. Meeting space?
Yep, it's a room that's about 1,000 square feet. I actually just showed it twice this morning to some walk-ins we had, and it'll do 50 again in rounds, or about 30 in classroom. It's a very popular room right here in Spring Hill. And then in Columbia, I've got a smaller room, honestly, and it'll do about 15 to 16,
So like a
depending
conference
upon
room.
set.
A
It
good,
is nice.
a good retreat for a board or something like that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Privacy, natural lighting, windows down the side of each room. So free Wi-Fi, that's just the capabilities are there.
Yep. Have you found that people inquire and rank your Wi-Fi? Because that's become my top thing when I go to hotels. Other than cleanliness and friendliness, I need to know the Wi-Fi speed. I need to know that the Wi-Fi is going to be good.
Yeah, and you don't want to pay for it. Yeah,
No.
you don't want to pay. Oh, I don't want to pay an extra $8.95 to hook in. You want, you just want to know you have good Wi-Fi. It is hugely important. So I can have 30 people on a laptop in there, all in the Wi-Fi, and it'd be great speed, plus a presentation on a flat screen. So never had an issue. I can't say that wouldn't happen, that technology happens and Wi-Fi can go down. I hate it. But for the most part, 99% of the time, it's great.
That's awesome. And so if somebody wants to know more, what would be the best place for them to reach out to?
Myself direct. Yeah, I'm a kind of a one-stop shop. I can look at availability at all 4 at a given keystroke and on my system, and book it. And we've got rental rates, varies at each hotel depending upon what they need. So I'm a good one-stop shop for that.
Okay, that's awesome. So anything that we haven't covered, we're getting close to time. Anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't covered? Did we do the 3 hidden gems? We did Harpeth, kayaking. We did downtown Franklin. We did botanical gardens. That's 3 right there.
It's pretty much right on. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. So anything else you want to cover in our last couple of minutes?
Not really. We just talked about community involvement. We're very much into that. I've always been involved in our United Way and other experience. Spring Hill with the Chamber is a great way to give back and get to know your community. I highly encourage that. There's a lot of people out there that are just need those touch points and need a little help, and they need to know what you are and what you're doing, and you're the face of that organization. So I just encourage that, and my company is great about it. When I need to volunteer or do something, Halifax Hospitality is very they'll definitely let me do what I need to do, and with the sales team as well.
Cool. That's awesome. Hey, Melinda, at some future point, would you come back and update us?
I sure will. You just let me know, especially if we have some new announcements about some new hotels we're building. In all markets, it's needed. So you just definitely let me know, and I'd be happy to.
Awesome, Melinda. Hey, thanks so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Have a fabulous day.
Thanks. Just hang around for a second. Folks, if you would like somebody featured on the Nashville2 podcast, have them reach out to me. If you know somebody that needs to be recognized for what they're doing for their community, for a business owner that is working hard to launch a business or build a business, or a church or a nonprofit, have them reach out to me. I'd love to feature them on the show. And there's never any charge for being a guest on the show. Hey, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you share, and we love your reviews. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
This is the Nashville2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.